I just wanted to check in because the question of the day is, are your expectations making you miserable? So, you know, we oftentimes have expectations of how things are going to go or how people are going to be, how they're going to show up in our lives, how they're going to treat us, what they should be doing for us, what they should be thinking about us. And the fact of the matter is that expectations are simply made up by us, right? It's a fictional creation of our minds. We make up this idea of how we think things should be, how we think life should be, how we think we should be doing, and the people around us. And because it's fiction, though, what's actually happening in life often doesn't match up with our expectations. So we often have these high expectations, whether it's for ourselves or for others, that are sometimes impossible to meet. And then as a result, we become disappointed or discouraged or frustrated or annoyed, or whichever way you want to look at it, depending on whether it's yourself or someone else or just life in general. I see this show up, with people's work a lot, right? They have a sort of a linear goal, and it's like, well, this is what I want. I want to get to this goal. I want to achieve this goal. They do the SMART goals and everything, just got to do the manageable steps and take the steps, and then the linear path will lead me to the goal. And lo and behold, something comes in and derails the plans, and the steps don't get taken in the time or the way that the person thinks they should have taken them, and then they become discouraged. And then it becomes either a problem of self-blame, like, oh, I can't do anything right, or why is it that it's taking me so long to get to this goal completed? There must be something wrong with me or the way I'm approaching things. That's a common one. Or the other one is like, well, why is life always doling out these problems to me? It's sort of a victim mindset, right? Like, life hates me. Life is mean to me. Every time I make a plan, things go awry and it doesn't ever work out. And of course, we apply these expectations to people as well. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having some expectations of how a person should treat you, let's say, with respect or dignity or care. That's one thing. Well, a lot of times the expectations might be something along the lines of, this person should know what I'm thinking. This person should know this is what I like. So even if we haven't informed this person, we might expect them to behave a certain way towards us. And that could be in the workplace, that could be in our personal lives. I mean, I hear it a lot with people's romantic partners, committed relationships or friendships even. Why isn't this friend showing up the way I think that they should? Now, again, like, if you have certain needs that you feel like are not being met, it's important to acknowledge that, right? But as people are showing you who they are, or life is showing up the way it's showing up, which we have very little control over, we can either get very upset about it and disappointed and discouraged and frustrated, or we can see it or them as it is, as they are. This is reality, and our expectations really, I mean, it's a wish. It's a wish or a hope, but it's not reality. And so if we're always disappointing ourselves, right, because life or people are not showing up in the way that we expect them to or wish that they would, we're just hurting ourselves, and then we end up feeling miserable. We end up feeling disappointed all the time in ourselves or in our lives. So what's the solution? What's the solution? Well, I think it's impossible to let go of all expectations, and I don't think that's necessary, right? It's just understanding that you're setting a certain expectation, and if a person or a situation does not meet that, then it's worth questioning. Okay, is this an expectation that needs to be adjusted? Is this an unrealistic expectation? Do I need to communicate to this person that this is my expectation, instead of expecting them to read my mind and know what I want? Or in the matter of things happening in life, right? Plans not being fulfilled. Can we actually look at this situation more objectively and go, okay, so this didn't happen in this time frame. Is it time to take the next step now? Things aren't happening according to my plan. Things aren't happening according to my timeline. But that doesn't mean all is lost. Maybe it means, you need to course correct, or maybe, even choose a different path. But it doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't continue along your goal. It just means you might need to adjust your expectations for how long it might take or how it's going to get accomplished. So anyway, it's just something to notice, right? If you get frustrated with something or someone, you're finding yourself discouraged, annoyed, that's the signal that maybe you need to check yourself. And again, if it's something, it's like a need is not being met and you need that need to be met, then okay, it's time to either communicate or leave the relationship or what have you, whatever the example is. But in the case of life not showing up the way we want it to, it might be that we need to let go of those expectations altogether. Let go or fine tune. So the more we understand like how we're creating our reality and sometimes setting ourselves up for disappointment, well, the more possible it is for us to be contented or satisfied, to embrace what actually is showing up, to have appreciation for what is showing up. What is showing up is oftentimes, whether or not we can't control it, right? But oftentimes it's perfectly fine. It might just be not what we expected. So we have to maybe get on board with what it is. And the more we can do that, the more we can embrace what is, the more we enjoy our lives, but then also the more we tend to notice the gifts in what's showing up. What may have seemed originally like a disappointment might actually turn out to be the fulfillment of something. So just something to think about, check your expectations, see if there's anything you need to do about them or adjust or let go. All right. Well, that's what I got for you today. Something to chew on. Been nice chatting with you, and I hope that I see you next time. All right. Have a wonderful day.